Hey everyone. I just wanted to do a quick follow-up after presentation of Chris' presentation. He created a repository and I helped him quickly draft all the advices from his presentation into this repository. And this is a follow-up. I strongly invite you to go there. If you have issue with tests, maybe we can solve it all together. If you have like a good solution, good silver bullet for improving test speed, then please share. And that's it.
Hi, I'm Tomek from Montreal. I was just encouraged to give you a hint on something that you might want to introduce in your everyday workflows or behavior in the project, and think that it's a simple takeaway that you could greatly see your clients benefiting from it. And the thing is called blameless accountability. I've learned about it in one of the episodes of Stack Overflow podcast. The thing was that there were some guests marketing some tool, which I'm not marketing right now because I cannot even recall the name. But the thing was that what is generally perceived as valuable for a client when we react upon some failure in production is that we act as quickly as possible. We threw all resources to overcome the failure and fix it as quick as possible, but we do not inform anybody about that, especially the client. So because we're perceiving it as it is good enough that we just act on it without telling about that. And it is actually false. And the metric for this, what people usually do is mean time to resolve. We developers tend to think that this is the thing that makes the client the most happy, but the truth is, and some research backs it, that what is even more important, and it actually costs us nothing, is to the metric would be mean time to respond. So before we get our hands dirty and jump into the console, we just notify the client that, hey, somebody's working on that. And I get a feeling, I started to implementing it so that if there is some problem or even a request, it doesn't have to be, I don't know, database is down, but there is some request from client, you can just react on Slack or just write short message, I'm on it. And I get a feeling that the NPS score and overall client satisfaction was much better since I started doing that. And I can recommend to start doing that. I believe that in your next peer review or next NPS probe, it will be reflected. And actually, that's it. Thanks.
I don't know how to use it, but how to find mentor or mentee. Yesterday was presentation about mentoring, so inspire me to say how to find it. And I heard when you start with GIF, it's much easier, so there's much to learn, still to have. And the first thing where you can find mentor or mentee is the company. And I'm from Monterey, and I should say this is the easy way to join us, but we have a really awesome blog post how we are doing mentoring from both sides how to be a mentor or mentee. And you can read it and maybe inspire and do something similar in your company, because this is not only way, and you can do it your own way. But there are a lot of services, external services, where you can find your mentor or your mentee. And for example, my face is on this site. It's codingcoach.io, and there is really good place to find people after some bootcamps or self-learned people to mentoring. I have right now I have one mentee from this website, and in past I have few of them. So if you want to find someone to mentoring, it's really good site. But there's also mentoring club where you can find people from services like Netflix, Google, Meta. When you, I think on our way, it's much experienced people, and you can discuss a lot of stuff which could help in your current work. There is also Plato, but as I know, Plato costs over $200 per month, and this is money for Plato, not for mentors. So probably it's not a good place to use. So, but remember, the money is for Plato, not for mentors. But also there are a lot of places where you can be a mentor. There is IT, there is tech leaders, and probably much more groups where you can mentoring or find mentors. And I'm Tobiasz Waszek, and you can find me on LinkedIn. So if you have any questions, I probably can help you. And once again, I'm from Monterey, and tomorrow we host Drag. So this is local Ruby group, and tomorrow at 7 p.m. in our office, it's this meeting. So thank you.
So, hey again. I wanted to talk a bit why password validation on website often sucks. I mean, everyone so probably shit like this. You need a special character, you need a uppercase, lowercase letter, numbers, blah, blah, blah. If you are using password manager, that's not a problem, and you should be using one. But if you believe everybody will be using one, I don't know what you are on, but I want some. The problem with that is users are lazy, and they came up with something like the first password on the list. It passes all validations. It has lowercase, uppercase, number, special character. It's at least 8 characters long. But I think we can all agree it's weak password. And the second case is a sentence. It's easy to remember, and it's much more secure than the first one, and yet it doesn't have special characters, it doesn't have numbers, so it will not pass the validations on that site. And so I'm not empty-minded. There are programs to validate password strings, and I'm always joking that 100 tries per hour is sending it to India so somebody can solve the backup for you on paper. So it's still 10 minutes. And yeah, you are not waiting for this to be cracked. So what's the solution? And why is it important? So as I said, users will always, with that type of validations, try to hack it. They will replace S's with dollars. They replace O's with zeros. And those rules are very easy to implement in cracking software. All of them support it out of the box. You can run Hashcat. It's a cracking hashes software that supports almost anything. You go with basic dictionary, just run it with defaults, and it will crack things like that in milliseconds. So a great project to use is ZXCVBN, which is terrible name in theory. We'll get back to that. It's a Dropbox project, which is originally in JavaScript, but has bindings in almost everything, Ruby included. And it returns score from 0 to 4. So you can represent it like that on your site. So you don't tell user what is wrong, but they know when it's good enough. And to remember the name, that's just the lower row of your keyboard without M. I don't know why they skipped the M, but they did. Thank you very much.
Good. I don't know what time it is. I'm a bit far from home. So I am from Zimbabwe. Oh, I guess I need to change slide. So yeah, so Zimbabwe, it's quite an interesting country. I am not black, which is surprising. There are white people in Africa, believe it or not. Oh, I don't know what's happened. Apologies. There. No, so Linux is the solution, not the problem. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's a user error, not Linux error. So yeah, this is Zimbabwean currency in 2008 and 2009 on the left-hand side. So I think I may have been one of the youngest billionaires in history. There was about 16 million billionaires. That's the population of Zimbabwe. So yeah, there was quite a few billionaires in 2008. And on the right-hand side, we've got a couple days ago, we've got a couple currencies. We've got 4 currencies in Zimbabwe. One is card currency, and then we've got cash currency, and all of them have different rates. And then we've also got mobile card currency. It's an absolute shit. Oh, sorry, it's an absolute joke. But at the bottom, you can see the current inflation rate. So I think my advice to anyone worrying about inflation, don't worry about it. Rookie numbers. So at the moment, we're at 285%, we're just getting started. So there's this great thing in Zimbabwe called corruption. It works in your favor most of the time if you can afford it. So if you have a look at the police roadblock, you can see that the barrel, which is supposed to stop cars, has been hit by quite a few cars. And the reason is that if you hit the barrel, you could just pay the policeman a couple of dollars and you could be on your way. The other great thing about it is the police don't have cars. And yeah, and we also have had fuel shortage crises, so that's also pretty great. You can see on the bottom picture that is a fuel queue. There's probably 2 pumps, but about 10 lines to try and get fuel. And that is also solved by paying the pump attendant, and you will be first in line. So corruption is very useful. Presidents. These are the 2 presidents I've known my whole life. The one is no longer president because he got kicked out by the other one who was his vice president. So it's a dog-eat-dog world. But yeah, 2 presidents. I don't know whether it's for educational purposes that they want us to be able to remember our president's name, so they keep him in power longer. But I mean, it did help in the exams and that sort of thing. But yeah, 2 presidents my whole life, and the one is dead finally. He took his time, but he's gone. Public transport. Zimbabwean public transport is very different to Polish public transport. And as you can see, it's a joke. These are, unfortunately, this is the situation on the ground. Okay, I did get the most chaotic looking picture. It's not always that bad, but you can see things like that. Whereas Polish public transport is rather delightful. Okay. So our national dish in Zimbabwe is called sadza, not to be confused with sadza. So yeah, there's, as you can see from my search phrases, we've got sadza PL and sadza ZW, and they return very different images. So yes, this is our national food, and yeah, please don't confuse it with sadza. We have water in Africa. Well, I won't speak for the whole of Africa, just for Zimbabwe, my part of Africa. Yeah, we have lovely, well, we actually have the second largest lake in the world. Man-made lake, dam actually, because a lake is like anything, I don't know, some technical jargon. But yeah, we do have water and we do have wild animals, and it's a great, great country. And we've got very dry places. So I was saying we have water. It's in places. There are places where you won't find water. And so in the low fault, the lower lying areas, it's much hotter and dry. And in the higher areas, it rains pretty much the whole time. So yeah, we've got a mixed bag. Great, great destination. And everyone always asks me, why are you in Poland? I hope that gives you some context, and I hope you appreciate Poland a lot more. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about 3D printing. So it's not related to Ruby or loosely related to programming, you'll see. And so I bought my 3D printer back in like 2016. It's a Prusa Mark II, it was. It came with in a plastic bag, so you can like assemble it on your own. It's a DIY kit. It's fun like to assemble it, so you can get a little bit more understanding of how it works as well. Yeah, so the nice things about these printers is they provide upgrades. So it's like there are some improvements along the way, and you can upgrade your printers. And it's also like, I don't want it to be an advertisement of Prusa, but they're really reliable printers. You can, like, if you break something, you can find the replacement parts. They're quite popular, and they have like pretty good support. Made in Prague, Czech Republic. Okay, so when it comes to like designing stuff, most people, I think that's the most popular one. So most people use Fusion 360 for designing stuff. So it's like proprietary software. It works only on Windows, probably Mac OS too. Yeah, so it's cool. It's really cool. I used it a couple of times, but for my purposes, I think I used mostly OpenSCAD. So it's like a programming approach to modeling. You will see in a second. And cool things about these OpenSCAD is that it's like you write code actually, so you can store it, you can version it, you can store it on GitHub. It's pretty cool. So the code looks like this. Yeah, so yeah, now we can see an example. Okay, so another thing that you have to do after like you model your thing is like to slice it to different layers. So the printer works like it just puts like layers on top of each other. And for that you can use Prusa Slicer. So they provide you with their own slicer you can use. So it's a pretty cool piece of software as well. Yeah, I think it's written in Python, by the way. Okay, so you can print like different types of plastic, different colors, etc. So it's really, yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, so funny story is like when one of my friends came and asked me to fix his SolarStream machine. So if you've heard about SolarStream, maybe you've encountered it, maybe you used it. It's a sparkling water maker, and it has like a design flaw, I think. So it tends to, like the button here tends to break at some point. And obviously you can't get it anywhere because the manufacturer does not provide you with any like replacement parts. Obviously, you can throw it away basically. And so yeah, my friends know that I just like love fixing stuff. So my friend asked me to design and print it for him. And basically, it looks like this. And it's a little bit different than the original part because of differences in like production method, but because the original part is like injection molded. And it's like I put it on like Polish eBay, and like people starting buying it, and they just keep buying it like all over again. Like I don't know, I've sold like 200 of these buttons already, and they still keep buying it. So it's like a very common issue, I guess. So it's like probably there's like a other places where you can probably like provide some replacement parts for other devices as well. So if you have any idea, like if you have like something broken, maybe that there's a way to fix it. And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much.
Hi everyone. It was quite a tough decision to have the speech for me because I have one friend in Wrocław which showed me Wrocław nightlife. And yeah, today I want to speak with you regarding one interesting feature which as I see, is not really raised on some new projects or projects that upgrade to Rails 7. But I think it's quite interesting. This is load async in Rails 7, which was recently released. Yeah, let's see and find these examples. This is a really simple example of controller index. We have 3 instances to load. As I think in some applications, it's a usual situation when we need to load users, applications, and invoices and just show and render it on a view. And as you can see, we have these 3 models, and they're pretty straightforward what's going on here. Yeah, users, they have apps and invoices, and we need to show and render it on view. And yeah, how to configure this load async? I think we need to set up this async query executor. We have 2 options, global thread pool and multi-thread pool. The first option is suitable when your application uses only one database. And the second one you can use if you have multiple databases, and you can configure this maximum pool size per each of these databases in database YAML. Yeah, let's focus on this example. Why do we need to use this feature? Sometimes it might be really helpful if we have such situation. We have this view, and this view includes these 3 instances. We render them, users, applications, and invoices. And once we reach users, Rails tries to course it to array, and it takes some time to execute users query. Then we convert it to array. Then we reach these apps, and we also make this select query. It takes some time. Then we have to convert it to array, and at the end we reach these invoices, and this whole process is repeated. And yeah, we make it step by step. And if we have 1 second per each query, it will take in general 3 seconds. We can just try to change it a bit and make in controller try to convert it to array from the start, but it doesn't really help us because it just moves this process of converting to array to a controller method, but it doesn't really help because we still need to make it step by step, load users, then apps and invoices in the end. Okay, and now if we use load async, how it will work? We use this load async method, and once we have this view and we reach users, we still have to wait once users loaded. But at this time, we also simultaneously load these applications and invoices. And once we reach these applications on a view and invoices, they are already loaded. So if each request takes 1 second, in the best case, it will take as well 1 second to load all of the 3 instances. And I really want to that some people, they would use this feature and share with your experience. This is quite interesting because this feature was released, I don't know, several months ago, maybe 6 months ago, but I didn't face it on any projects, or I don't hear that people talk regarding that. And for me, it will be really interesting to discuss this, and probably that someone shares this experience. Okay, and this slide is quite interesting. This is evaluation of languages. Yeah, and as you can see, yeah, we are evaluating and Ruby at the end. Yeah, thank you for this. Yeah, thank you for your time, and please try out this feature and share with your experience.
All right. So now the last part, so I'm not really giving a lightning talk. I'm just, we have 5 ebooks to give away from pragmatic programmers. So you can, yeah, give a clap for the pragmatic programmers. Yeah, so as usual, we are doing this like random out of the all lightning talks. I hope that any of you who gave a lightning talk can see yourself on the list. You can mob program my or code review my script. Right, is it visible? I think so, yeah. All right, and these are the winners.